Greetings, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Topic UFO. For those of you that follow the show closely, you may have noticed we've been gone for the last couple of weeks, but we are now back. We went into a little bit of a hiatus, working on some new media streams that we're hoping will pan out. We're still looking at Sky TV and also some leased access with a large cable provider. So I'll keep you updated on that. Excuse me. During the last 2 weeks, we have not shut down production. We have recorded 4 new shows, one of them being this one right here. And our guest tonight is Patty Greer. Patty is an award-winning filmmaker. She's had 6 films completed now, and she's here to speak to us about her latest film entitled The Shift Has Hit the Fan. And she's also going to be talking to us about 2 of her other films that are about crop circles. And we haven't talked about crop circles here on Topic UFO yet, in depth anyway. So this ought to be very interesting. So, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Patty Greer.
Rangers, whatever you do, don't miss this wonderful chance to get a Captain Video picture ring. A ring exactly like the one that the Video Ranger and all video agents wear. Right on top of the ring, there's an action photograph of Captain Video himself, and he's holding his famous static beam gun. This picture is sealed onto the top of the ring under a special transparent stone. Now, you'll use the Captain Video picture ring in your games and spy adventures. You'll use it instead of a password at all your own Secret Ranger meetings. And you'll wear it at all times to show that you're fighting alongside Captain Video in his battle as guardian of the safety of the world. Now, in order to get your Captain Video identification ring, all you do is just ask for luscious Powerhouse candy bars at your favorite candy store. Then, after you enjoy this wonderful taste treat, send in the wrappers. If you get the regular nickel-sized Powerhouse, then you'll need 2 wrappers and 10 cents in coins. Remember, that's 2 of the nickel-sized wrappers. Or, if you get the big 10-cent Jumbo Powerhouse, then you need only 1 wrapper and 10 cents. Got that? Well, either way, you mail those wrappers, along with your name and address, to Powerhouse, Box 95, New York 46, New York. You better write that address down so you don't forget it. I'll repeat it. It's Powerhouse, Box 95, New York 46, New York.
Welcome back, everyone. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our guest for the evening. She is an award-winning filmmaker, and she's going to be talking to us about her films as well as some other things. So let's talk to her right now. Patty, are you out there?
I'm here.
Patty, how are you doing tonight?
Great. It's a treat to be on your show and talk to people I haven't met yet.
Likewise here. Likewise here. I'm not quite sure exactly how we met. It was on Facebook somehow, but, it's such an amazing social media network. I meet so many new people, so I'm glad I was lucky enough to meet you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the social media is how we're going to be spreading news and the truth. So what a blessing that we have this now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. So Patty, you've been a filmmaker now for how long?
I accidentally started in 2007. It was never a plan I had, but I laid in a crop circle and had a very extreme experience, and the next thing I knew, I was making movies about crop circles.
Wow. Now, you've done, I think, 6 films to date.
Yes.
You have one that's just now come out.
And nobody's seen it yet.
Nope. Well, that's going to change. That's going to change.
Yeah.
The name of the film is The Shift Has Hit the Fan.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? Can you give us a little teaser about what this film is about?
Yes, it's kind of a graduation of my previous 5 films that took me on an adventure of really learning about the English countryside, where there's been more crop circles than anywhere else on the planet documented. Now, it's possible that there's places that people don't go or fly over that have had more. We just haven't heard about it yet. But this area of southern England has more than 50-60% of the crop circles found around the world year after year after year for decades. So I made most of my movies in the crop circles of southern England. But this particular one that I just finished, and it's funny, I never mean to make the movies, they just happen. I do have a camera, and when I get moved, I grab it and go interview smart people. So I think that's how I've made so many movies, is I have good intuition. But this particular one, I was invited, got a press pass to go to the Global Breakthrough Energy Movement, which really inspires me, to think of free energy for all people all the time, and to no longer be polluting the planet. So I go to this event, and Foster Gamble, who did the Thrive movie?
Yes.
Wonderful man. Well, he was there with a lot of the New Age scientists. I don't like the term New Age. It's really new paradigm scientists that are creating these free energy, zero-point technology, re-engineering the spaceship technology for vehicles, and many of them are being successful. Plasma engines, water engines. And so what's going on now that's like this war among humans is that we have free energy. We have numerous devices. Tesla was right about one of the many aspects of free energy. Brilliant. And, what happened to him? Well, yeah, that keeps happening to our scientists now, but there's too many of them out there. And so it's really wonderful that we have all of these extraterrestrial gifted technologies that are going to help this planet come back to being a healthy planet. And that's what this new movie's about.
So do you think we are at a time where we are going to see a change from these technologies that have been with us for 100+ years? Do you think that we'll really be able to do it? Big corporation can't slam it down just because now it's so known about and getting more and more every day. Do you think we can get past that whole corporate press down?
That is the big question, and it's certainly stepping on a lot of us, as you and I spoke before the show. But I think that there's too many of us now that are awakened, and it feels really good. It feels awful, actually, to know what's going on, but it feels really good to know that it's already happening, Rick. It's already happening all around the planet. And these breakthrough energy conferences are people from all these different countries, and each of them has a big, expansive program going on, like Foster Gamble does with Thrive. So like they're building cosmic communities of conscious people that are bringing these techniques and technologies to people on a large scale. So, the interesting sadness is the press is bought and paid for. So the mass media is not getting the truth at all. They're not being allowed to know how great it's about to become. And my best friend and I take turns having good days and bad days, where one of us will go, no, really, we're going to make it, like you just asked me. Who knows? But I know that every day I choose to see us making it, because what's going on today is definitely not working.
No, it is not. And it's not, we just can't keep going the way we're going. We have to change. We just have to.
Right. So the movies that I make, it's really interesting. I've been incredibly suppressed by those that don't want the information getting out. And there's tons of crop circle movies out there, but they're like talking heads talking in circles. God bless all of you. What happened was, for me, I really didn't go there to make movies. I went to England late in a crop circle because I've been dealing with mercury poisoning for 10 years from a dentist.
Oh.
So I was desperate to heal. I'd been to every kind of doctor, healer, wooed you. I mean, I tried everything, and nobody in my country, America, is allowed to tell you the truth, which is you've got mercury poisoning from your fillings. So finally, I did get the real test, and I was completely in the red zone. And what a gift that I could stop listening to my doctors who still today are giving the wrong test. And they know it's the wrong test. So we're in an interesting time where the corruption is so massive that it's almost hard to even deal with it. So what I say to people is you can't fight what's going on, but you can stop supporting it. And I recommend to everybody hearing your show that if you have a dentist that still offers amalgam fillings filled with 50% mercury, pick a different dentist. Don't even discuss it. And it's the same way with UFOs. I find that you can hear my passion. And because I've been in more than 100 crop circles, I don't have any doubt that there's many crop circles that are real. So let's talk about the beautiful nature of crop circles, since you've never had a crop circle show.
Absolutely. And as I will tell the viewers, depending on how long you've been watching the show, you may know that we've never really had a show where we've talked about crop circles in depth. And so I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Now, Patty, you've been over to England. You've laid down in the middle of one of these things. You have a film specifically about crop circles, correct?
I have two specifically about crop circles. And the one that I have 3 EB awards from the International UFO Congress Convention, which is really an honor in my field. And there are these pewter aliens with a movie camera on their shoulder looking at me right now from my piano. But, you know, for me, and I'm not being modest or bragging in the least, I really never had any training. I never grew up saying I want to be a filmmaker or I believe in UFOs. None of this was my plan. Right. What happened for me was really surprising. And it began in 2001 when I had a boyfriend who experienced something that I didn't see because I had been taken. And I actually talked to him again this week because after the experience, he didn't date me anymore. He came up to my mountain house where I had been living for many years, and I had a piano and harps, and I played music, and I had all these wildlife in my backyard, and a pond that was always creating a sound of water, so I had lots of wildlife in my backyard, and I would sit outside and hand feed them. And so the boyfriend was like, oh God, Snow White in the woods, you know. So I wake up one morning and he is staring at me with the most frozen look on his face, and I said, hi honey, you look weird. And he said, do you remember what you said in your sleep last night? I was like, whoa, I just woke up. He said, you woke me up by saying it's not what you see, it's what you don't see. I said, well, that was cool. He said, then you said it's not who you know, it's who you really are, and I couldn't get back to sleep. I said, well, honey, I'm sorry. He said, oh no, that's not all. He said, then I saw headlights go along the backyard and come toward the house like a U-turn, and I realized there's no road there. And the first ball of light came into your bedroom through the wall, circled the ceiling, and I was shaking you, yelling, Patty, what is this? And you wouldn't wake up. And I looked at him and I said, cool dream, honey. And he really grabbed my wrist hard. And he said, it wasn't a dream. I know what I saw. And the guy was pretty straight. So he said, that's nothing. Then the next ball of light came through the wall. Now, this is before I knew anything, Rick. I mean, I was like thinking he had a dream. He said the second ball came through the wall, and when it passed through, it wasn't white anymore. It was lime green, like a glow stick. And it circled the bedroom ceiling. He said, I shook you so hard that the headboard was hitting the wall. And you wouldn't wake up. I'm totally freaked out. Like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you blaming me? This didn't happen. You had a dream. And he got up and he left, and he didn't date me anymore. I'm just like, God, way to lose a guy. And he was serious. It did happen. What now, I didn't know.
Was he, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but was he someone that had been contacted before?
Never.
Oh.
And never since.
And so you think, or it sounds like you were already taken when he was trying to wake you up. You were already gone somewhere.
What I know now is when the lights go green is when they take you. When the light changes color, typically, and again, everybody's experience is different, but it appears that that's what happened to me. And I didn't really find out till 6 years later. So I swear to God, I'm jealous of this guy for 6 years. I'm like, why him, not me? So I'm in Glastonbury, England one summer after I'd made a bunch of movies. And at the Glastonbury Symposium, they're showing my movie called 2012. We're already in it. And it was the first time they had a sellout on a Saturday night in 20 years. So it was really great turnout. And I felt like everybody was my friend. And afterward, Mary Roswell from Australia, who's...
Yes.
Okay, you know Mary,
She's
good.
She's been on the show.
Oh, isn't she lovely?
Yeah, yep.
So she says, let's go to lunch. So we went to lunch, and she said, so about that boyfriend story... And I said, yeah, why him, not me? I mean, since I was 7, I've been doing rituals on the full moon. She stops me. She goes, Patty, he couldn't wake you because you were taken. I mean, for 6 years, I had no idea.
Wow.
But I did know in 2007 that I was taken in a crop circle. So I don't have marks. I don't think I have implants. I feel like I have been... they gave me the word, it's a transmitter. And I think that, and I believe that I know that that's why I had to be loaded up with high levels of mercury, toxic mercury. The levels that I was at stunned them that I wasn't brain dead. And what happened for me, I went the opposite direction. I've never been this intellectual. And this creepy thing is that I could pretty much answer anything about crop circles and ETs without blinking. And it's not like I'm brilliant. It's that I've had contact.
You've been given the information, right?
Yes. And I don't know how much time we have left, but the coolest story is that I finally learned where they took me. And it happened in 2012 when I no longer went to the crop circles. I went in 2011 was the last time. In 2012, I was here for the summer. And in the middle of the summer, I had a friend come up to the house. Have you interviewed Stan Romanek?
No, he has not been here.
And you know who he is?
Yes.
Well, it's one of the women that he claims is his hybrid mummy of many babies, and she and I were good friends back then. And so she came up to the house and spent the weekend in the guest room, and she says, oh my God, I've got to show you this artist, this amazing artist that I found. She opens up her computer and shows me the art of Ariel Ali, A-L-I, Ariel Ali. And I look at the first picture and I'm like, oh! And she says, what happened? And I said, oh my God, who is this artist? And my whole body's trembling. I'm shaking. I've got goosebumps. The hair is standing up on my entire body. It felt like the hair was standing up on my head. I said, I want to see the rest of his library. She's like, what's going on? I said, I don't know. I need to see the rest of his library. The second picture she pulls up, I'm tears running down my face. I said, oh my God, this is where they took me. And she looked at me and I said, I can't believe I just said that, but I'm sure of it. And it was this, his artwork is this unbelievable colors, ultraviolet, ultra pink, ultra blue. I mean, there's nothing like it on this planet. And when Mary Rodwell took me on my 3-hour regression, and my boyfriend set up the movie camera and recorded my 3-hour regression, I didn't even have to hear it. I remembered everything after Mary and I did that regression. So when I saw the picture, it was definitely the place they took me.
Well, what are these pictures? Are they a landscape? Are they
no,
just...
What it was a crystal castle underwater in extreme color. And when you see the crystal castle, it had 5 pillars with stars on top of each pillar. And there were no circles, just rectangle pillars with stars on top. And to get into the crystal castle was this beautiful entry in the colors and the pillars before you get in. I mean, it was so clear in my mind. And when I saw that this guy had painted it, I was like, who is this artist? Because he went there too. I'm going to contact him tomorrow morning. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing it in a painting. This is definitely where they took me. So I'm really, really excited to find out, more about this. So it's 10:30 at night in Colorado where I live, which is 5:30 in the morning in England, where I wasn't that summer with my friends, the circle makers, the non-human circle makers. So I did recognize and fully remember where they've been taking me at 10:30 at night in Colorado, okay? I wake up in the morning, and my friend is still asleep in the guest room, and I come down and I make coffee and I open my computer, and I belong to the Crop Circle Connector, which is a membership. If you are a crappie or interested in crop circles, you join for a small amount, like 25 pounds a year, $40. And every time there's a new crop circle anywhere in the world, bang, you get an email. Pictures, images, diagrams. It's great. I get my picture of what happened while I slept last night. Are you ready, Rick?
I'm ready.
I'm dying. I open up my computer, and there's my letter of what happened while I slept. It is the Crystal Castle. 5 pillars with stars on top and drips of water directly under the Crystal Castle. I'm hyperventilating by the time my friend comes downstairs. She's like, what's going on with you? You're freaking out again. I pointed at my computer, and she just walked up like hyperventilating. Oh, my God, it's the Crystal Castle. And I said, yep. What time was it when I remembered last night? It was 10:30. What time is that in England? When I remembered, they laid down a crop circle. And again, this is only my perception, but I went through all 69 crop circles of 2012. Every single crop circle had a circle except the Crystal Castle crop circle. So now I'm, posting on Facebook, but I'm not telling people that, of course, this was a love letter to me from the circle makers. I would never claim that, but my heart's pumping, and it's like coming out of my shirt. I'm just like, oh God, this is great confirmation. But isn't it interesting? It's the only one of the year with no circle. The very next day, phase 2 of the Crystal Castle is this huge circle on top of the castle, 3 times the size of the castle. And I'm not exaggerating, Rick. The goddess was inside the circle.
Jeez.
So you try and talk me out of thinking that this is real? Ain't going to happen this lifetime. Why I'm passionate is because I've watched the history of crop circles. In 2001 and 2002, we had binary code crop circles that were read across the world. And a binary code, it's not like you can make that up. And they were done in really brittle wheat to perfection. And when you walk through that wheat, if you step on it, it's going to break. But these crop circles had no broken wheat. The first binary code was the year that 9/11 happened. It was the same time that Donald Rumsfeld discovered that there was 2.3 trillion missing from transactions. During that year, these 2 crop circles, the message, do you remember the alien face in the disc?
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay, I mean, everybody remembers that because it was passed across the world, but do you remember what the message was?
No.
It was deciphered as this: beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing.
Wow.
In 2009, right before, I'm going to give you the punchline before I tell you the story, right before the BP oil spill, the summer before April 2010, 2009 summer, we had a most unusual crop circle season. Usually we get a variety of sacred geometry, pictograms of like a picture of an animal or something, and then we get the binary codes that they read by, the ASCII codes. So the pictures you can get an idea by, you see an image of something. So, the sacred geometry gives more of a feeling that goes subconsciously into the mind. But in 2009, we had pictogram summer, and it was the most, we'd never had anything like it. There were 6 different bird crop circles: the owl, the sparrows, the thunderbird, the phoenix, the hummingbird. And these were really big, beautiful formations. Then we had the dragonfly, ancient insect creature. And then we had fish. There were 6 or 7 of them. Huge squid with squiggly arms that came down. Do you remember any of those?
No, no.
They were magnificent. Oh my God, they were like 3D when you saw photos of them. Absolutely beautiful crop circles. And when you realize this is in huge acres of wavy green barley, you know, it's supple like somebody with really soft hair. You get that to lay down and stay down? Whoever's doing this, these guys are brilliant with their advanced technologies, but not human, all of them, I assure your audience.
Well, let me ask you a question, Patty.
Wait, I want to finish this.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
We had the circle of trout, we had a circle of dolphin, we had the squid, we had the octopus, we had all these sea creatures, and then we had the ancient Orthoceras sea creature. So we had the oldest sea creature, and we had the oldest insect, the dragonfly, or one of the oldest. I don't want to be incorrect. But what are we seeing? We're not seeing sacred geometry that summer. We're not seeing a lot of binary code that summer. We're seeing fish, birds, and ancient creatures. And 6 months later, BP killed millions of them.
Right.
I think that we have been given messages for hundreds of years through the crop circles. It's how they're choosing to speak with us.
So my question is this. Why are so many of these crop circles, it sounds to me like the overwhelming majority, are done in the UK, right?
Yes.
And why is that? Any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Great question. The center of this phenomena is a ancient stone circle called the Avebury Stone Circle. Mm-hmm. And it sits in the middle of this 40 square mile radius of more crop circles than anywhere else in the world. And they bombard this area every summer. There's been 50 to 70 to 80 77 I think is the top. But out of 150 worldwide crop circles, 77 average in this area. That's a lot. And if you've only got 40 square miles, that's a lot of crop circles in one area to fly over, which is really fun. So to one side is Stonehenge. Right. To the other side is Glastonbury, and right in the middle is the Avebury Stone Circle, the oldest stone circle in Europe. Splattered all around between them are ancient churches, sacred sites, abbeys, mounds where they used to do rituals. All these places are places where people walked across Europe to do rituals thousands of years ago. So the druid energy, the earth energy, the connection to the earth is a really high vibration in this area. And the people have messy homes and spider webs and bugs in the house. It's a whole different way of being. That's part of being with the earth, you know, whereas in America, we have housekeepers and car washes. It's not like that there in this area. So why are the circle makers coming here? We've got all these sacred sites. At the end of every summer, we take the ley line map. Do you know what ley lines are? Right. Okay. And the ley line map of this area is like a lacy spider web because there's so many sacred sites. And if every line of a ley line, for your audience that might not know, is a line between two sacred sites. So when you connect all the sacred sites to each other and you look at this ley line map, there's areas called a crossing node, which is a crossing of two ley lines. So you can imagine doubling or multiplying the energy in that particular point. So at the end of every summer, at the Crop Circle Research Center in England, it's called the Silent Circle, really cool place. He takes push pins, and whenever anybody reports, and we fly over and get documentation that it's a crop circle there, the push pin goes on the map in the location. So at the end of summer, they look at all the locations of the crop circles. 90-something% of them are sitting on a node or a ley line.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah, and 90-something% of all crop circles documented are over an aquifer of water, an underground pool. So those are the two main features that are non-coincidental about almost all crop circles documented. They're over water, and they're sitting between sacred sites on a high vibrating, typically a crossing node of basically 4 sacred sites. I mean, total power points and water points. So when I think of coming down to the earth from up above, bringing these important messages and emblazoning them in the field to where they're going to stay there until the farmer mows his field down and deletes the overall pattern. It'll still be emblazoned in the ground. You can see it. I think that the ETs have something further in mind, which is to send the messages into the water, into the ocean, spreading out all around the planet from the energies going through the crop circles.
Very well could be. Very well could be. I did not even know about these things having the water underneath them.
You don't get to know very many things about crop circles other than they're all made by a couple of old guys, so go back to sleep. That's all you get to know.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because I do remember, them coming out, and these two older Englishmen had stated that all of the crop circles were made by them, and it seemed like the news was just taking it as truth.
Oh, gee, what a great story. Well, guess what? One of them's been dead 20 years. Seriously, one of them has been dead 20 years, and the fact that they ever even claimed that they made all the crop circles is so brilliant, considering on the same night they made 3 in England that were, acres large. They also made 1 in Italy, 1 in Slovenia, and 1 in Germany. So even if they did make all the crop circles, they're traveling at the speed of light to do it.
And not only these crop circles are not just wheat, barley, what have you, squished down. Haven't they investigated? I forget what the actual name is, but at the little node in between the length of the stalk, they're like popcorn almost. And it seems like they've popped from energy of some sort, which someone using a plank of wood and some rope could not do.
Correct. It's called a blown node.
Blown node. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a bent node. And it's funny, the word node coming up again.
Right.
Node is where the ley lines cross, and node is also what they call the bubble in the stem of the grain. Wheat, barley, corn, oats, they've been found also at the top of trees, that they've actually laid messages in treetops. They have seen it in sand. And I don't mean the ones recently done by the people that are saying, hey, look, we made all the crop circles too. I'm whatever. But they have found crop circle messages in a variety of different things. I think the extreme one was Brussels sprouts. These circle makers laid it in a field of Brussels sprouts. And Brussels sprouts grow on those little things, like with the little dots going down the stem. Have you ever seen a Brussels sprout?
I have not. I don't like Brussels sprouts.
Oh, well, you would like them the way they grow. They look like a hand puppet that's anyway, it's a very funny looking food the way it grows. But to even think that the circle makers could bend that. Another astounding thing they do is they bend canola. And canola is the first crop circle we get in England every summer. And canola can grow to be 1 to 2 inch hollow tube, very brittle, and they grow so tall that the gentleman interviewed in my first movie, The Wake Up Call, anybody listening, he said that it's like walking through a tangled web and you have no idea where you are. So walking through canola is very tricky, but when you're in a crop circle of canola, it is the most astounding thing, because if you step on one, it will break. And then you get up to a place where there's thousands of them curled, where they're graciously bending at a 90-degree angle from 6 inches off the ground, thousands of them, none of them broken. Wow.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
So when you look at pictures of crop circles, there's 3 different colors, and the yellow ones are canola.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, early season yellow ones are canola, and the green ones are barley and wheat, and then in August or July, August, they turn brown. And so you see a lot more brittle fields. And when you get to the end of July and you know that the wheat and barley are extremely brittle, when those crop circles are meticulous and intricate is when it's most impressive, because that is not humanly done. And the blown nodes you're talking about, very important fact, is that you've got a stalk of wheat bent over at a 90-degree angle, and instead of being broken and bent, something heated it from the inside quickly and laid hundreds of thousands of them side by side in perfect symmetry. How does that happen?
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. What is your thoughts on how this is done?
Well, it's an advanced technology that we don't know, so I can't answer that scientifically. I do know that it's heated, and it's such an instant heat, they're calling it something that would be similar to a microwave. Mm-hmm. But you know, how they would get that many to bend left and then right and then forward and then back, 10,000 this way and then 10,000, it's above us.
Some type of focused energy, some type of focused energy stream that can, almost like a computer. The air is the bandwidth in which this energy is sent through, and just amazing, just to even comprehend where this is coming from. That energy has to be emitted from somewhere.
Yes, and before we end, I want to make sure that your audience, it's only my perception, but, why crop circles? What are they? Why are they happening? In my opinion, crop circles are the first manifestation of communication from extraterrestrials that humans have seen for hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. And why would they choose big fields of wheat? Well, they last 3 months of summer. Why would they be using pictograms and sacred geometry? They're using art and math, which is a language that clearly we all understand.
Right.
And when our highly paid, expensive scientific projects are sending off these radio waves and beams and stuff into outer space to communicate with them, hello, they don't speak radio. We have different technologies. So I think with their advanced intelligence in some fields, that they've found that art and math is a way that they can communicate, where we, if we're willing to look at it, will see and get the message. Mm-hmm. So on a subconscious level, they feel that we will get the message by looking at the picture. And I believe that's what crop circles are, is their attempt to communicate with us.
I would have to agree with you. I really would. Well, listen, Patty, we are getting down here to the end of our time. But I wanted to let the viewers know that now your latest film, The Shift Has Hit the Fan, that's going to be playing at a upcoming MUFON event, I believe, or
Nope.
No,
I am introducing it next month at the International UFO Congress Convention.
UFO Congress
premiere. I'm very excited about that. I'm also one of the speakers this year at the International UFO Congress. And tonight was a really lovely warm-up, because I really, I'm going to bring the stories forward about the history that they have offered us so many clear warnings. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really think they're working with us. And all these Hollywood high-budget films, all they're trying to do is scare us that they're all going to come and kill us. But I assure you, you know it too, that we have too many people that have had sightings and interactions with extra-dimensional beings to really think that it's, God forbid, not true. But, the interesting word that a lot of people are saying now is fortunate. That when you are in contact, that you are fortunate. And if Hollywood were right, we'd all be dead. If the ETs were here to destroy us, we'd all be gone. But these technologies, instead, they're really trying to watch us and hope that we're going to get it, that we're going to move forward. And pretty soon, I think they're right on the edge of saying, nah, I think we're going to have to step in now. And the crop circles have been this little liaison of their way of saying, don't even think we're gone, because we're here and we're going to keep putting these crop circles in your fields because we know some of you are listening. Therefore, the name of my first movie, The Wake Up Call. Anybody listening? And anybody that wants to see my movies, I have most of them streamable on the website, which is pattygreer.com. Please come and visit.
Absolutely. Is there any other ways people can get in touch with you, or is basically everything through your website the way you like it, or?
Everything through the website. Yep. And I contact me. I mean, a lot of people that want to have a conversation, just send me an email.
Excellent. Excellent. And I wanted just to verify the International UFO Congress. Is that the one coming up in February?
It is. And I'm speaking on Valentine's Day. How cool is that for a girl?
Very good. Very good. Well, Patty, thanks again for taking time out of your evening to speak with us. I found it extremely interesting. I'd love to have you come back whenever you feel like it, and we'll talk some more.
Awesome. Have a wonderful night. Rick, thank you for your Topic UFO show. I mean, you're waking up so many people by the great guests that you bring in, and your consistency of hanging in there and finding interesting people to share your information with is how the shift is happening. And if everybody listening tells a few of their friends and their family, then it keeps moving out across the world. And when we get past that 51% where all of a sudden we are back in power, all of this is going to change. And disclosure is really close.
I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't. Absolutely.
Great.
All right, Patty, you have a wonderful evening, and we will stay in touch with you.
All right. Love, world. Keep your eyes to the skies.
Very good. Good night.
Good night.
Open the door, you'll find the seat.